Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents Striker by Daphne Loveling. Narrated by Jillian, Macie, and Troy Duran. Love comes like lightning and disappears the same way. If you are lucky, it strikes you right. Chitra Banerjee Devrakaruni, The Palace of Illusions. Prologue, Ember. I've had a lot of odd cases in my somewhat brief time as a lawyer. But boy, oh boy, this one takes the cake. On paper, the clients sitting in front of me right now don't seem all that different from the ones I usually get. A man and his girlfriend who came to me because the man wants to get formal custody of his daughter. The girlfriend is here because she wants to marry the man and adopt said daughter. But before that, the girlfriend needs to obtain a divorce from her husband, from whom she has been informally separated for more than 2 years. Messy, yes. Complicated, sure. But I get complicated cases fairly often. That's not what makes this situation strange. What makes it strange is that the man in front of me is a member of an outlaw motorcycle club. As for the woman, her soon-to-be ex-husband is a gangster. And thus begins a very atypical day in the offices of December Wells, family law attorney. A day, it turns out, that will change my life forever. 1. Ember. So, basically, explains Katie, leaning back in her chair, we have 3 separate but connected cases that we'd like you to be working on at the same time. The attractive dark blonde with deep brown eyes glances over at the long-haired muscular man sitting next to her. The man hasn't said much yet. So far, he just watches his girlfriend and lets her talk. The strong silent type, I'm guessing. Katie continues, enumerating on her fingers. First, we need to figure out how to get Tank permanent custody of his little girl. Her name is Ren, by the way. Her eyes soften as she says the name. Second, I need to file for divorce. Katie pauses. I've been estranged for a while from my husband. She stumbles over the word. And I should have filed a long time ago, honestly. I guess I've been putting off dealing with it. She takes another breath and looks up at me, lips curving into a smile. Then, when that's all done, Tank and I will get married and, assuming all goes well, we'll start the paperwork for me to adopt Ren. I see. I turn to the man. Mr. Berrigan, is that more or less how you see this working? The man that Katie calls Tank, whose real name is Matthew Berrigan, locks his dark brooding eyes on mine and gives me the barest of nods. He's distractingly handsome, with longish brown hair, a short beard, and sensual lips. His long sleeves are pushed up to his elbows, revealing the tattoos lining his forearms. The patches on his leather jacket tell me he's a member of the Lords of Carnage MC, the local motorcycle club. Tank Berrigan is every inch the bad boy. His entire presence exudes grit, power, and masculinity. His is the kind of raw strength that comes not from the gym, but from the street. If I met this man out in public, I wouldn't know whether to be scared of him or attracted to him. Probably both, to be honest. He's the kind of guy I might cross the street to avoid. Except for one crazy, incongruous thing. He's wearing what looks like a kid's plastic pop bead bracelet on one wrist. I caught myself staring at the bracelet when he and Katie came into my office. Its bright burst of color, an instant distraction. I've been fighting not to gawk at it ever since. I can't imagine that bracelet came from anyone other than his daughter. In my line of work, I've gotten good at reading signs and body language, and the fact that a big, scary dude like Tank would wear that bracelet in public tells me something very important about my prospective client. Something more important than perhaps any other detail. It tells me his commitment to fatherhood is real. It tells me how deeply he loves his little girl. Tank shifts his gaze away from me to Katie. Her petite hand has been wrapped in his giant one ever since they sat down. The way his expression shifts as soon as their eyes meet tells me something else about this man. Something undeniable. Matthew Tank Berrigan is in love with Katie Abernathy, body and soul. A sharp pang of grief hits me unexpectedly. Not for what I've lost exactly, more for what I never had in the first place. I swallow and mentally push it away before my new clients can notice anything is wrong. Well, I murmur, straightening. You're right. It is all a little complicated, isn't it? But I think I understand well enough. We'll just take things step by step. Like you said, the first issue is the little girl, Wren. I make a note on my pad and turn to Tank. From what you've told me, Wren was dropped off on your doorstep, and you haven't heard from the biological mother since. You don't have an address for her? No contact information of any kind? No. The word rumbles from Tank's lips in a deep baritone. Let's just say there's reasons she wouldn't want anyone in my MC to find her. Jess betrayed the club. He states simply. So she's probably not looking to be found. Okay, well, that's going to make things a little tougher, I murmur. Do you happen to know whether you're listed as the father on the birth certificate? His brows knit together. Nope, no idea. I haven't seen the birth certificate. Wouldn't know where to find it. All I have to go on is that Jess told me Wren is mine. Okay, I nod. Well, in that case, the first thing to do is locate the certificate. If you're listed on it, that will make things much easier. And, of course, we will have to try to find the mother. Can you give me her full name? Jessica Anderley. Tank's voice turns hard, angry. But she doesn't want the kid, I'm sure of that. I'm guessing there's a backstory here, and from the sound of it, it's not a pretty one. I'm curious to hear what it is, but I've learned in my profession that the best thing to do in these cases is not to get bogged down by gossip and hearsay. It doesn't advance the case to know any more, not right now anyway, and it wastes the client's time and money to let them spout off their grievances. So for now, I steer the conversation forward. Well, hopefully that means she won't fight you for custody if and when we find her, I answer. This whole process would be much easier if we could have her sign a waiver releasing her parental rights. That way, Katie could eventually adopt her with no issues. I weigh my words. If the mother can't be found, we can petition the courts to terminate her rights. That would be a long process, though, I'm warning you. We'll have to show the courts that efforts have been made to find her and serve her. Then it will have to go through the court system, which won't be quick. Katie looks grim. We figured that might be the case. Paternity rights will need to be established, I continue, on a roll now, with a patter I've explained dozens of times. In the absence of the birth certificate, a paternity test could determine that. In the meantime, the child would likely be put in foster care. No! Tank roars, so loudly I jump. My right hand nearly dumps over my cup of coffee, but I catch it just in time. Mr. Berrigan, you have to understand, I begin, but he's half out of his chair before I get any further. She ain't gonna be taken from me, he hisses, jabbing a hard finger at me. His eyes flash like flint against steel.
We're not putting her with anyone else. We're not fucking doing that. No matter what. Not an option.
He runs a rough hand through his hair, the hand with the bracelet, and I see that it's shaking.
She has a father, he mutters half to himself. She lives with me.
I glance over at Katie in alarm. Her face is pale, but her jaw is set in a similar determination to Tank's. She laces her fingers gently on his forearm, guiding him to sit back down.
Ms. Wells, she begins quietly. Call me December, please, I insist. Or Ember. My friends call me Ember.
I don't normally give my nickname to clients, but I do now, hoping to calm the electricity in the room. Katie sighs.
Ember, you have to understand, Ren has been through a lot. We can go into that if you need us to, so you'll understand.
Her voice quavers.
But having her spend time in foster care would be truly traumatic for her. Please, believe me when I tell you it would be cruel and terrible for her to be taken away from Tank. She needs the stability of her father.
And Katie, Tank rasps. She's more of a goddamn mother to her than the woman who birthed her ever will be. We ain't letting her be taken away from us, Ms. Wells. No matter what, that's non-negotiable.
The fierce determination on both of their faces is like looking at two halves of the same coin. It's clear to me that these two will do anything to keep that little girl safe and with them. They are not going to let go of Tank's daughter, even for a moment, no matter what. Even, maybe, if it means breaking the law. Taking a deep breath, I look each of them in the eye. First Tank, then Katie.
This may be a little tricky then, I warn.
We'll just need to go step by step and hope we don't hit a dead end. Tank seems to relax a bit, and next to him, Katie exhales in relief.
We got a guy in the MC who can help you with intel if you need it, Tank rumbles. His name's Tweak. He's the one who helped us track Jess down the last time, before she flew the coop.
Noted.
I pause.
Speaking of which, there is one more thing I want to discuss with you.
What's that? Katie asks.
I want to mention that there may be a potential issue with the fact of Mr. Berrigan's lifestyle.
I raise a brow, glance at his leather jacket.
The courts might not look very favorably on his request for parental rights. Obviously, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But I'm just warning you about that so we can all be prepared for it. But if Tank's paternity is established, though, through a test, and the mother agrees to terminate her rights, then that shouldn't be a problem, should it? Katie argues. If we can prove that he's the father?
I'll be honest, it still might be an issue, I admit. I'll need to know everything there is to know about Mr. Berrigan's criminal record. Instantly, I realize what I've said. If there is a criminal record, I mean, I add hastily, reddening. Tank grunts, neither a confirmation or a denial.
I'll tell you what you need to know.
He shifts in his seat.
And listen, call me Tank, will ya? I'm getting sick of this Mr. Berrigan shit.
His words are so blunt that I can't help but laugh, oddly charmed. All right, Tank then. I find myself grinning. So, if you're ready to proceed, let's get some financial details out of the way. I tell them my hourly rate and give them a ballpark idea of what they can expect to pay for my services, which they seem to have no problem with. I ask Katie whether she wants to begin the process of serving her estranged husband divorce papers immediately, and she says yes. I tell them what that will likely cost as well. I take a few further details from them and explain I'll be able to get started on both cases within the week.
But then, things get one step weirder.
"There's one more thing," Tank says just as we're wrapping up.
"What's that?" I ask.
"We'd like to assign you an escort."
"An escort?" I repeat dumbly.
"A bodyguard."
He shrugs.
"Protection, just temporarily."
"Tank," Katie admonishes, shooting him a warning glance. "I really don't think that's necessary." "I'm sorry," I say, shaking my head. "I don't understand. What in the hell?" Tank looks me up and down.
"Katie's husband, ex-husband, is a bad dude. This divorce thing ain't something he's agreed to, and we don't know how he's gonna react. I want to put a man from my club on you for a while, just to make sure you're safe."
"I honestly think Tank is overreacting on this," Katie interrupts, in a tone that tells me the two of them have had this out before. "I haven't seen Kurt in a couple of years, and he hasn't contacted me once or tried to come after me. There's no reason to believe he would do anything violent or dangerous." Tank crosses his thick, tatted forearms over his chest, a storm on his face. It's clear from Katie's worried expression that she's afraid this will scare me off from taking them as clients. "Look, I appreciate the intent," I say, "but that won't be necessary. I'm sure I'll be fine." I stand, to indicate this part of the conversation is closed. "I'll be in touch in a few days with an update on what I've found out. At that point, I'll outline the next steps to be taken. In the meantime, don't hesitate to call me if you have any other information you think I should know." "Thank you so much," Katie enthuses. She clasps both of her hands around mine in a grateful shake. "I know this is going to be a long road, but we're prepared for it, and it's going to be such a relief when this is all behind us. I can't wait until Ren is legally ours."
"And you're legally mine,"
Tank murmurs, sliding his arm around her. Katie giggles softly. "You know I'm yours regardless. You can't get rid of me." They gaze at each other with such open tenderness, I feel like they've forgotten I'm here. Awkwardly, I clear my throat. Katie's eyes flick from Tank to me. "Sorry," she says, embarrassed. I laugh. "No problem at all. Honestly, it's a nice change to see a happy couple in this office. Most of the cases I end up with are between two people who are at each other's throats." "Are you married, Ember?" Katie asks. Her eyes flick to my left hand, where an antique fire opal ring, a gift from my father, marks the place where my wedding set used to be. It's my one private concession to the secret I've kept for far longer than I've wanted to. "Yes," I give her a tight smile. "I'm married." Tank, Katie, and I say our goodbyes. I walk them out of my office and through to the lobby and tell Margot, my assistant, to take their contact information and set up an electronic file for them in our database. Back in my office, I watch through my windows as the two of them leave a few minutes later. Tank opens the door of his truck for Katie and waits for her to climb in, then shuts it gently behind her. As they drive away, it's hard not to envy them. It's obvious that this petite, spunky woman and her huge, tattooed biker are destined to go the distance together. They'll weather whatever storms life throws at them. And now, my job is to help make sure the little girl they love is by their side.
2. Striker. "Hey, asshole!" A hard boot kicks against my leg, jolting me from a hazy black nothingness. "Wake the fuck up," the voice says impatiently, loud enough to split my goddamn head open. "Jesus, you look like shit." Reflexively, I kick back blindly, but my foot doesn't connect with anything. I let out an incoherent sound halfway between a groan and a shout. At first, I'm not sure if this is a dream I'm just emerging from or if it's real. But fuck me running. Judging from the hammering in my head, my guess is I'm awake. The boot nudges me again, harder this time. God damn it, Striker! Tank's angry growl shoots a dagger through my pounding skull. I ain't got time for this shit. I flinch away from the sound. Not so loud, dude. Slowly, reluctantly, I work my way from horizontal to vertical, giving my head time to adjust. I squeeze my eyes together and brace for the light that's going to stab at me when I open them. Letting out a deep breath, I open my eyelids to see Tank standing above me on the couch, holding a bunch of envelopes and flyers in one hand. Jesus, I hiss. Where's the fire? Tank takes a step back. I'm surprised the fire ain't coming from you, he grimaces. You got enough alcohol on your breath to be a human blowtorch, you drunk motherfucker. Who let you in, anyway? I grumble. The door wasn't locked, Tank tells me. I'm guessing whoever your guest was last night left it open when she split. In spite of myself, I grin. Yeah, I suppose she must have. It's afternoon, Tank gripes. And Jesus, it smells like shit in here. He gives me a critical once-over. You look like you got the shit end of the stick last night. You lose another fight. I didn't lose the fight, I correct him, lifting a hand to my face. Ouch. The shiner I got from Aristo's left hook is going to be with me for a while. Yeah, my jaw's pretty sore, too. I threw it. I gotta make that shit look realistic, right? Tank groans. Oh, why the fuck are you throwing fights, Striker? I thought you had more self-respect than that. I let out a bark of laughter. Self-respect don't pay my bills, brother. Besides, I know I can take the assholes I fight. I don't need to prove anything to myself or to anyone else. If you know you can take them, why don't you get Rudy to book you some real fights? He challenges. Ones where you don't have to fake shit to get paid. What the fuck do I care? More to the point, what the fuck do you care? I say, wincing as the volume of my last words sends a lance of pain through my skull. The money's the same shade of green either way. Underground fighting is something I've been doing for years. I started out before I joined the MC. Been doing it off and on ever since, to make extra scratch. Tank used to do it too. The two of us were on the local circuit together for years. Hell, Tank was even a better fighter than me. But he got sick of it after a while, and eventually he walked away from it completely. Me? I've been working the fights twice as often lately. The money's good. Sometimes throwing fights, the money's even better. And letting someone kick the shit out of me feels like the penance I deserve. What the fuck ever, Tank growls, rolling his eyes. He tosses the envelopes and other shit onto the couch next to me. Here, looks like you haven't checked your mail in a while. Thanks, I say. So, what's the deal? He challenges. Were you just gonna sleep all goddamn day if I didn't wake you up, asshole? I rub a rough hand over my face. So it's noon, so shoot me. I'm an adult last I checked, which means I can get up whenever the fuck I want. Tank sighs, looks down at my coffee table and lifts a boot to shove the empty beer bottles and other shit cluttering it off to one side. A few of the bottles fall onto the floor. One rolls to a stop at my feet. I notice a pair of pink panties next to it. Huh, I don't remember those from last night. Then again, I don't remember much from last night. Tank clears enough room for himself to take a seat, perching on the edge of the table. What the fuck is wrong with you lately? He asks. I can hear the concern and disgust in his voice. You're living in a garbage dump, brother. Christ, when's the last time you cleaned up around here? He sweeps his arm around the place. It ain't that bad, I say dismissively. And by the way, let me remind you I didn't invite you in, so you can fuck off with the complaints about the state of my living room. The hell it ain't, he snorts. It's like you're homeless, except you got a roof over your head. This ain't like you. Brother, this is absolutely like me. Do you not remember the constant festival of booze and pussy that is the Lords of Carnage lifestyle? I mean, I know you've recently turned into a family man, and all of a sudden underground fighting and partying hard is beneath you. My lip curls. Has parenthood and domesticated pussy wiped your memory clean in such a short time? Tank unexpectedly became a father a few months ago, and one of his exes, literally, left a kid on his doorstep and skipped town. What happened after that is a long fucking story. But in the end, he got a great daughter out of it. Not to mention an old lady who's hot as hell and tough enough to keep my MC brother and best friend in line. I ain't gonna lie, though. Even though he's about 1,000,000 times happier lately, it's been kind of a drag that he ain't around to hang with me as much as he used to. Come on, Strike. Tank frowns, suddenly more serious. You know what I mean. You've been hitting this shit a lot harder than usual the last few months. It's one thing to party, but I don't know. This is different. Different how? I counter. I ain't been doing anything different than I usually do. Drinking, fucking, fighting. My 3 favorite hobbies. Oh, and writing. My 4 favorite hobbies. I correct. Which used to be your 4 favorite hobbies not so long ago, if I remember right. But Tank isn't going to laugh at my little joke. Different as in out of control, he retorts. Which you are. Well, shit. I guess he ain't going to let this go. But damn it, he's gone too far with his self-righteous, holier-than-thou attitude. Look who's calling who different lately, I fire back. Who the fuck are you, anyway? Other than my best friend. What gives you the right to come over here all up on your high horse? What, now that you've got a girl and a kid, you're all into playing the big family man and you look down on the rest of us? Shit, man, you even stopped smoking. To make my point, I reach for the side table and grab my pack of smokes, lighting one and blowing a big cloud of smoke between us. You're the one who's changed, man. Not me. That stops him short. For a second, he doesn't say anything. Yeah, I have changed, I guess, he acknowledges. But shit, Strike. At least it's a change for the better. I'm fucking happy. This, he shakes his head, glances around the room. Man, I don't know. From where I sit, you look like you're trying to outrun something that's about to catch up with you. Jesus Christ, Tank. Would you fucking stop trying to be my mother? Is this all you came here for fuck's sake? You ain't trying to stage some sort of intervention, are you? I sneer. 'Cause you can fuck right off and get the hell out if that's what this shit is about. I take another angry drag of my smoke, wishing I had a coffee to go with it. Or some hair of the dog, or hell, some weed. Tank blows out a long breath. No, that ain't why I'm here. I got a favor to ask you, though I'm starting to have second thoughts about it already. Well, you got a hell of a way of buttering me up, I quip. Let's see. You come in here, insult my cleaning skills, call me a drunk, then tell me you got a favor to ask me. Shit, I can't imagine why I wouldn't say yes. Look, I'm sorry, brother. He raises his hands in a truce. Just consider laying off the hard partying just a little, huh? That's all I'm going to say about it. You've registered your complaint, I snap. Now, what's the favor? Tank leans forward and props his elbows on his knees, making a steeple with his hands. Okay, here's the deal. You know how Katie and me are working on her getting divorced and me getting custody of Ren? I know all about this shit. Tank has told me Katie's still technically married to some hard-on who works for her stepdad's criminal enterprise. Tank wants to ask Katie to marry him, but that can't happen until Katie gets her divorce. And Tank wants Katie to be able to adopt Ren, too, once he gets custody of her. I know this shit has been on his mind for a while now. Yeah? So what of it? Well, we went to see the lawyer yesterday. I sit up straight on the couch, forgetting about his nagging in an instant. How'd it go? Pretty good, he nods slowly. I think this lawyer chick knows her stuff, and Katie likes her. This thing is gonna be a long fucking process, though. There's a lot of moving parts. I keep my opinions to myself. Of lawyers in general, and of getting a lawyer involved in this shit in particular. What's that got to do with me? I sure as hell don't know anything about the law. Nothing except being on the wrong side of it, that is. I want you to run protection on the lawyer. I do a double take. What the fuck? Tank fixes me with a stare. Here's the thing, Strike. I've been having Tweak look into Katie's husband and her family. There's a chance there could be some trouble when the guy gets served with the divorce papers. What kind of trouble? Katie's stepdad is pretty hot.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?